I already just had a feeling. I had a feeling this kind of crap would come out. They got some Stranger Things. I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in anything to do with Stranger Things anymore. I don't know why. I don't even care. I did care. That's crazy to me. It was my favorite show, but yeah, I'm just like, yeah. I don't know. I don't like Netflix. I'll just be honest. I don't want to be a Netflix person. I was looking at their stuff. They got only movies that pretty much nobody wants to watch or are just really easy to find and they're cheap and free. Or their own originals and their originals suck. Like, why? Why is that all we got? I don't care. So yeah, we're doing another video today. So we're over halfway done with the PC, and y'all have been, I don't know if you caught up with the short videos. I just show like how much I got built, but I can't do like wait for all the parts and do a build video. I don't want to do that actually. It would just drive me nuts sitting and staring at the boxes and waiting and waiting and waiting. I don't want to do that. Yep. And if I don't set a goal and then just work on it over time, I'll be more frustrated with it more than anything. Why does this feel so laggy? It's okay, I'm not even gonna worry about it being laggy. It's fine. What's nice about my room being cold right now is my phone doesn't overheat when I'm gaming. Wish was on. It's still on the, when I go on my Roku TV, it says PC, and that's where the HDMI is plugged in. But this is just a phone. It's a placeholder. But when the PC is actually finished, then, you know, I'll plug the HDMI into that. Which I don't know what I'm going to do with this little hub now after this. It might just be like a backup fun little thing to use, but I don't know. I've actually picked an official spot for the computer too. It's sitting right between my dresser and my TV. It's in the perfect spot. All I had to do was move the DVD player, which is not a big deal. I first put the DVD player on top of the computer and I was like, it don't look that good. Like, it looks kind of weird. So having it sitting next to it makes more sense. But I'm gonna move everything off so I can do like a final build like video or something. I don't know where I'm gonna put my camera. I might just have to, you know, I don't have a tripod. Every time I think about it, I used to have a tripod and I'd put the phone on it. I don't got that anymore. That's right. I could just go get one, but they're not that expensive. I might just get one. Yeah. Oh, so I went into work today and they moved my schedule. So I was supposed usually in the morning, but now I'm just doing 5 to 10, so everything's kind of back to normal-ish. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other updates. I've been taking better care of myself. I've been trying to clean up my place more. I don't know. Oh, I bought some cologne. That's right. I'm waiting on that today. It's supposed to show up around 1 or 3. That's what it says. Which it's probably gonna show up around 3. It's always later than sooner. Usually. Damn this rain. I don't even want to play Minecraft anymore. This is so funny. But this is all I got. I'd like to play some Cyberpunk, or I was even thinking about Tomb Raider. And yeah, okay. I went back and forth. I started with, let's get an ARC B580. The drivers are just not stable or capable enough. That card's actual hardware is not being fully utilized, and it is stuttery. with more VRAM demanding games, it's when the game gets past a certain threshold of VRAM requirement, which is like more than 4 gigs. There's this weird stutter with the animation, like the actual texture loading on the characters, and it's in every single game. I'm like, Intel, are you kidding me? Every single game, if I stand still, everything kind of looks smooth, and then when I'm in action, there's this hitchiness or this jitteriness to everything. I'm like, that's not. I hate that crap. Like at first I would go, oh yeah, I'll get used to it, but then after a while it would drive me nuts. I'd be trying to figure out how to fix that shit. But then you go into the actual driver settings, and yeah, the driver settings are pretty good for, you know, a consumer or even maybe a pro person who wants to overclock, but there's no fine tuning or tweaking available like on AMD or Nvidia. There's no profile inspector type stuff for it. And that's when I decided, okay, if I can't really get into the nitty-gritty of the card, I don't want it. And I hate that fact about me. That's a me thing. That has nothing to do with the fact that the card isn't good enough or that the price is fine. But then I looked at system balance. What's a very balanced system that I could go with? And I looked at the 5060 Ti, and there's been a lot of good deals popping up, but they get bought so quick. You'll see one listed for 400 and it's gone. But then pull up a benchmark. Okay, sure. The 4070 uses maybe 70 watts or whatever more, something like that. So I don't know. But for the VRAM and the performance of the rasterization and the cards, you know, just everything about it, does a better job than the 5060 Ti in most titles, especially more demanding titles, which is kind of crazy. So the 5060 Ti is really only capable in like less demanding games, but has plenty of VRAM, so it is literally just another 3060 that doesn't use all of its VRAM. You get a 3060 with 12 gigs, and it doesn't do enough with that 12 gigs. And that's so annoying. Like, that makes my skin crawl. I freaking hate it. Like, I don't know how to explain that why I hate it, but it's irritating. It's like, let me add insult to injury. You're gonna pay for this card. You're gonna get alright performance, and you're gonna get plenty of VRAM. But the VRAM's not even necessary. We just put it on a card that doesn't even need it. And then you look at the higher end card, the 3070? And it's like, okay, might as well just get a 3070. Or it's at 3070 Ti. What I'm aiming for and what I want to get, because going back to a 4070, a 4070 Super would be great. I don't care for the Ti or Ti Super. The frame rate is just kind of surplus at that point. Just sub Ti performance is fine. I will just accept, if I have no choice, just to get a 4070, overclock it, and just say, oh, the power draw is really high. The 4070 Super is like a refresh. It's more efficient. It's better. So that's where the conclusion came to. We're going with that card because the overall system that I'm building is just, it's too capable for a simple card like a 3060 or ARC B580. It needs a better card. It says, oh yeah, you got 8 to 10% CPU overhead, which I don't know how accurate the bottleneck calculator is, but that's what it says, and I believe it. I believe that this CPU is really capable. It's basically like an i9 from last generation, which is insane to think about. I paid $150 for equivalent to an i9 10-core CPU for Core Ultra. And then I have 32 gigs of DDR5, 5,200 megahertz transfers. But okay, think about the value and overall use case, I could just overclock it, maybe increase the cache latency if it needs it to like 5800, which I would be happy to add 400 megahertz overclock to these DIMMs, but they also have good heat sinks on them, and that's all right. And yeah, the cache latency is pretty high, but they said overall bandwidth, you're just gonna be looking at the frequency is really gonna be the only thing that matters when it comes to DDR5. I guess the way it works. And also, okay, Optane is technically dead, right? But there's third-party software I want to try out. So I took a screenshot of all these different ones. There's MemVerge. What I want to try to do is extend my memory backup with the buffer, and also try cache memory, or just system caching. I want to see which one does better on the Optane using third-party software versus, you know, because it's not supported on 225F series, blah blah blah. You can't use it in the BIOS. But I already paid for it. There's no way to cancel on eBay, and even if there was and I contact the seller, I don't want to cancel an $8 item. It's just so silly. When these Optane drives are in massive quantities just sitting around, can they be used? I remember when they came out, they were so freaking expensive, and you're like, what? All I'm paying for is 16 megabytes. It was like hundreds of dollars. And then now we're in 2026. I can get one for $5. Damn. Okay. That's pretty interesting to me. It may not do a lot for a system that I'm building, but if it does anything for $5, so hence why I looked at a motherboard with 3 M.2 slots, not 2. I have 2 M.2s lying around. One 1 terabyte that has the main OS, and another 500 gigabyte. And then I also have a 1 terabyte SATA Samsung 860 EVO, QVO, quality, whatever, which I highly recommend getting Samsung Magician to speed up the drive. But another thing I'm going to try is speeding up the cache memory for that specific drive if I can, using the Optane. I want to do different scenarios. Let's say I use the SATA drive and I have a bunch of games on there, but the game I load the most is the one that gets prioritized. Shit, my bad. That's something I want to see. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it'd be fun. I want some unknowns that are like maybe, possible, could work. That just allows me to have some fun with my computer instead of, okay, it's built, run the thing, cool, turn it off. I don't want to just do that. It seems boring. It seems really basic. And I have 10 plus years of optimization and PC building experience overall. And with all that experience, it's just, for me, yeah, I like to mess with it. I don't want to just, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but yeah, I'm like a pro optimizer in certain areas. Like when it comes to making a game run a certain stable frame rate, you know, I can do that. But here's the problem. Ray tracing. Ray tracing on any card just forces you to make compromises on resolution. And you did all this work to optimize your system. It runs perfect. And then as soon as you turn ray tracing on, it hinges on those RT cores. They're locked. You can't mess with the clock speeds. At least I don't think you can. There might be a way. You can't really tweak them that much. You can't. Other than mods, you can get mods that lighten the load of ray tracing, rework it a little bit. But even lifting up the base frame rate of the game and then turning on ray tracing, it still puts it back at pretty much the same frame rate. You'll overclock your graphics card, still puts it back at the same base frame rate. There's almost no point. But here's my goal, okay? Going back to Cyberpunk, I'm building this entire computer specifically, say PC, to run that game in overdrive with frame generation at 1080p, DLSS balance, which that's a really reasonable um, setting to put it at. That's very reasonable for that card, that tier. 4070, maybe a super, hopefully. And then we'll just put it at those settings. The rest of the settings do not matter to me. I want full overdrive. No, yeah. I want path tracing. The rest of the settings can be varied. They don't have to be set to like all ultra, all high. Like specifically, I turned down like fog. Global illumination can stay on high. I already have the settings like memorized. Cloud settings and crowd density can be set to low. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like what I care about is specifically that. Can I get it how I've always wanted it to run, you know? And I had a 2060 laptop. I could get it to do it, but then suddenly it stopped working, which is really weird. I got frame generation and RT overdrive to work together at 60 frames at 1600 900p, but I was like not loading all of the shaders correctly, which is just a compilation issue. So I was like overly excited, like I figured it out. No. And now that I have a 2070 laptop that doesn't work, even if I got the 2070 working, it's still not enough power for that game. And it's the mobile version. So we're talking a dumbed down, limited power use, like it's only 240 watts it can use max. So the main uplift we're gonna see is like not as much as we think. Did I really just find my old town? Did I really? Is this mine? I think I wandered all the way back to my old home. I think that's what we did. Or this is a new town, but it looks familiar to me. Oh shit. No, this is definitely old home. So, yeah. And even if I get a limited 4070, I say challenge accepted, you know. The more the constraint to me, if I get some kind of performance breakthrough, combining like lossless scaler and the in-game frame generation, and I use a secondary card or something. But here's the thing. If I don't buy, let's say, a secondary card, and I put a full-size power supply, I got a constraint issue there. So I could go small form factor. But the prices for getting a full size were just really good for a power supply, even modular, even used, even for $100 for a 80 plus platinum or titanium rating. It's so good. You really can't argue with it. So I decided, okay, sure, I'll try to fit a secondary card. We could use a riser or move the power supply over to the other side of the case. I looked at the orientations of people's builds, and the side panel can be orientated any which way. I didn't know that. The PC case is a little bit customizable. I didn't know. I think for the $30, that's really cool. You can move a lot of it around. So it's funny that we're back here and I got all this stuff. What do I got? I don't got any armor on. Yeah, no. Okay, we'll just do boots. Oh. No, I'm not going to talk about work. I was thinking about stuff that's going on, but that stuff's not that important to me right now. Well, there's a girl I like. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if she likes me. But I like her. But I gotta build like a weapon. Yeah, we messed up. At that point, we knew we fucked up. We got a stone sword. Wish there was a mod I can make a emerald sword. That'd be cool. I could trek back the way I came, like see if I can find the other town again, get my other stuff. My memory's really improving lately. Like my recollection is getting better and better and better. I'm being so consistent with my supplements. I've even had to take double of certain ones because I was working a dual shift because a certain person had to go to the hospital and then they came back. But man, that guy's an a-hole. I didn't want to talk about him too much, but he's an a-hole. Nobody wanted him to come back. Everybody was so happy. But also, I don't like working that much. Like, sure, I made a lot of money. And that's where the money for the graphics card is going to come from. Is working these double shifts. I made over 400. So, looking at eBay, I'm hoping, which I don't think it's going to be, I may have to take 300 out of this one and then just get another 200 combined. And then that's just going to be the total. Because I do not feel comfortable spending a whole check and having nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing left for any needs or any backup. If I need more supplements or something. But yeah, like I said, I've been really consistent with the said supplements. My muscles have been doing better. Like, I'll be really wiped out, and the next day I'm just, like, recovered. It's insane. It's an overnight thing. But, yeah. So I feel superhuman. I feel different. This is kind of a shocker, but I'm convinced now that I've cured my depression. I get sad, sure, but I overcome it. I find ways to deal with it. I go through my feelings better in a way that is... I think I've cured my depression for real. My brain chemistry is just different. I'm way more in tune. I can listen to people. I stop and pause more often when I want to talk to them. Things I've been trying to work on. I look them in the eye. If I say I want to work on something, I subconsciously just start doing it now. Like, I'll say, okay, we got to get cleaning. And then within the day or even after work, I'll start working on it. Just because, my thoughts turn into actions really quickly. Versus, okay, it's bothering me. I don't know why it's bothering me. And I'm putting it off and I'm putting it off and I'm making myself more upset. Kind of patterns. So, and when I tell anybody, like, this really could help you, like, they don't understand because they're so comfortable and used to how, well, they're not truly comfortable, how things are, that if you try to tell them, like, there's a way out, it's such a shock that they don't know what to do with it. So yeah, and I'm also just really in control of my habits right now. If I want to get up and do something, I'm gonna get up and do it, and I'm not gonna let those habits get in the way of my schedule or my goals. I'm not gonna spiral out of control anymore as much. I just know it. Like, I know when I'm spiraling. I won't upload for a freaking minute. I'll just start feeling like really frustrated. So I'm not feeling that way right now. If I'm taking any time, it's just because I'm tired in general, like physically. That's the only limitations. Physical tiredness. It's another town. Yeah. Game's starting to lag. Man, still thinking about the fact. Okay, I can get an emerald. Yeah, one emerald. Another emerald. More emeralds. Heck yeah. I wasted my coal. Can I do it again? No, I probably can't. Yeah, no, it won't let me. It's only 4. Oh, and then you can get a sword. Okay. Okay. This is so much better. Just need 9. Yes. Yes. Finally. We didn't mess up. We got the real deal. Smite 2. That's better than just iron. It's way better. What do you got? Nothing? I tried right clicking and I'm like thinking, stop right clicking, and I still keep right clicking. Bread, wood, potato. Bread, wood, potato. That's all I want. Oh shit, my bad. Pause the game. My hands are a little bit cold, but it's only like 40 degrees above slightly. Look, I didn't need to make a chest plate. I could have made a helmet, and then we would have been fine. But it's too late now. It doesn't matter. Can I sharpen this sword? What happens when I do that? It takes the dang enchantment away. Nobody wants you. Nobody likes you. I think there's a mod that fixes that, but I'm not gonna gripe about mods. I want to fix up my mod pack, so I didn't say. I have a bunch of mods on my phone that I downloaded that I'm waiting for when I start using my PC to update my mod pack, test them out. There's so many damn mods, you can't find them all, but there's people on YouTube that do reviews and just say, here's some of the best mods in existence, and you realize, oh, I don't have that one. I don't have that one. And I have about 25 files I'm going to be using. So, what about this wandering trader? Come here, come here. Okay. Bunch of poo-poo in there. Can't trade for nothing. This game's great when you don't care. When you just stop worrying and caring about all the bull crap in the world. Yeah, this game's great. Is it ever going to be the same as the original Minecraft? No. No. But it's whatever. One hit. You see that? You see that? Critical. Critical hit. Yep, so we're going to get a 4070 and call it a day. And that's a balance system. Like, 4070 Super is slightly overclocking the CPU, which is by like nothing almost. Maybe 0 point something percent. Maybe 1%. I don't care. I'll get the better graphics card. But if it's just 4070, and I don't want to go to a Micro Center. I looked at the closest Micro Center, and their prices are okay. But you're still getting close to $500. But if I can't find anything, yeah, I'm going to have to bite the bullet, get someone to take me to a freaking Micro Center. It's a couple hours drive. And then just go buy a stinking return or whatever $450 4070, and that's going to be that, because I'm going to wait a week after getting this check. See if I can get something pretty cheap. Maybe cheaper than $400. That would be really great. $350. Praying. I'm not praying. Hoping though. $350 is a good number. That's a really great number for a used 4070. The eBay listings are horrible. You sit there going, wait a minute. Why would I spend $500 or $600 for a used card? Bro, you're tripping. They're like, but no, the graphics cards are really hard to buy, you know? So we know that you're going to spend this much money on it. Bro, and then anybody that sees a deal lower than that, they let it sit for a while. They don't touch it. They don't just buy it right away because they're like, maybe there's something wrong with the card. Maybe they're scamming. I don't know. But I'm going to take the risk on eBay. I'm not going to take the risk on Facebook store because there's this weird shit on Facebook store, okay? Facebook store has these copy profiles. These women, they're like a generic female's profile picture. They say used for 5 months, 3-year warranty, 10 out of 10 graphics. It sounds like some weird, I don't know. It's like translated from English, somebody in some country. And then you'll see the listing has the same pictures as the other women, but just reordered. Like they're in a different sequence. And you're like, wait a minute. This person, and then the prices are like varied. So I'm saying, which one's the real 4070? And if I take the chance on buying this crap, they're probably not going to send me a 4070. They're probably going to send me like a GTX 1050 Ti. And then I'm going to be bamboozled. Or I'm going to get a brick in a box. So I'm better off just buying a $500 card and getting scammed on Amazon instead. At least I can report that shit and get a refund. I don't know about Facebook's, sorry. Yeah, Facebook. I don't know about any of that. How that's gonna go down. This is definitely for the brawling. This sword's for the arena. This is the one to kill Vecna. Let's go. Like, I'll make Stranger Things jokes and references, but man, like, that show's dead. They killed it. They purposefully burned the bridge. I know what they were doing. I understand the way the Duffer Brothers think, even when they do make bad choices. And that's really wild to say. But yes, I understand why they did what they did. And it does actually kind of bother me. But it also is like, I might have done the same thing. Because everybody wants more and more and more. And they were like, you know what? If we just pretend to be sellouts, because they're never going to show an interview where they say that. If we just pretend to be sellouts and just kind of throw it together, call it a day, nobody's going to think about it too much. Okay, no, they know you're going to think about it too much. They knew what they were doing. Everything was a conscious choice. They're very high IQ people. And the other thing is they were only trying to hide valuable life lessons in the show. Everybody who talks about the show and misses that never understood it from the beginning. They're like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I get what you're doing here. You're trying to help the new generation and Gen Zs and all that. Find value in life. You know, even on a subtle seed planted from a story. The ending did not matter. It was the beginning, the middle, and whatever, you know. The ending did not matter. Not to them. You know? There's even hints of biblical scripture in the dang show, dude. Come on. Like, if you can't figure that out, you're dense. Or you're just missing a lot. And they're like, no, it's just a popular show for, you know, the hype and making people excited. Sure it was. I'm just gonna pretend that that's what it was, and not what I know it is. See, I like telling stories too. I like video games and movies, and anytime I see somebody pull something off like what the Duffer Brothers were trying to pull off, it did not have anything to do with actually making a show fully. Like, yeah, they're making a show, but they've made enough shows and movies to know there's got to be more to life. I think they got tired of doing the same things over and over and finding no value, or they weren't getting enough out of it for them, you know? And then they finally stumbled upon this idea for Stranger Things, and they could just have fun. But it was building relationships, it was, you know, just enjoying things. And you know what they were really trying to do was saying, it's our show, we can do whatever we want. Sorry, I just dropped like that. It's our show, not your show. but we are going to make it for you. And they held up to that all the way to the end. All the way to the fucking end. And this is why I didn't want to make a dang review, because I'm going to piss everybody off. So if I make a video and label it Stranger Things Season 5 Review, and I put a thumbnail on it, everybody clicks on it, I'm going to be stepping on some very sensitive toes. People who really thought they understood the show, and they're going to go, no, no, no. They're going to argue and argue. It'll go into obscurity, and I might ruin things for somebody more, or maybe not. But for me, when I finally decided, because I really did want to make a review video, to not do it, let me see, it's only 1:55, to not make this video, it was a conscious choice, same as Duffer Brothers making a conscious choice, to let it rest because it's theirs, it's not mine. I respect that show as theirs, not mine. And I'm gonna tell you right now. Oh, got all these emeralds. Look at that. The bad choices were done on purpose. Yeah. Shocking. I know. They were in control the whole time of making Vecna look bad or making him look good. You know, they had a certain director from other past horror films. I don't recognize him, but I know of his films. That's kind of weird. But yeah, he kind of did some different things. And they were just being experimental with it. Because, dude, they've already done everything. Checkbox, checkbox, buy the books. Everything was right. And they're like, let's just kind of go a little wacky. You know? Now, this ending is supposed to confuse you. It's supposed to. Because they got no more answers. They got no more places to go with it. And they don't want to go any more places with it. All the places they really wanted to go, truly, were inside and with the characters. Like, in their minds. Like, what they were dealing with. That's all they gave a crap about. So, with these resolves in everybody's, like, character arc, the overall universe of Stranger Things is not MCU'd like they think, like you're thinking. No, it's interpersonal. Why do you think they had shown scenes of them crying? Or like actually crying, like this is over and let's show them what this means. You know, it's art. It's a different kind of art. The whole show's a different meta, different story type. It was never meant to be perfect. Never. The Duffer Brothers stopped trying to be perfectionists. They started being more human. It's like, are you starting to understand what I'm getting at here? You starting to sniff what I'm throwing down? Is yeah, they're just showing humanity. Like a slice of life. Despite the fact it's a horror genre and a coming of age, yeah, it was still like a slice of life in between, and a comedy. It's a huge undertaking to do all those things. But when you dynamically have to cut certain scenes and you just kind of just want certain parts to just emotionally feel right versus actually be right, that's the call. That's the tough call that they're making. This is an emotionally accurate timing or placement of this, but does it make any damn sense to actual plot holes or linearity of where people should be? And like, no, they used old tricks in season 5, old tricks for timing. They extended certain scenes they didn't need to extend, but they did, and it was trickery. So, and I will go back to what bothered me about the show, and The only things that bothered me was, yes, the forced coming out sequence. It was very forced, but I mean, it is what it is. I respect it's a decision they made. And Holly, she just was a little bit too much. Just not necessarily bad acting. It's just her style of acting was not on par with the rest of the show. But that's my opinion. And I get they had to replace Holly for reasons that the younger actresses just didn't want to be in the show like that. Like, they were in the show as innocent kids, but they're not hardcore actors. But do I think, okay, could they have redone the scenes with Holly better? Possibly, but honestly, I don't think it would have made much of a difference because they're just trying to introduce a new narrative, a new character, so you stop focusing on all these other important characters so much. And the rest of the kids acting just, it was all right, but it felt very rushed or forced a little bit. So the new younger actors, it's like the Harry Potter. What am I doing? It's kind of like Harry Potter when you see the younger kids, and it's like, yeah, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. But other than that, so basically episode 5 and 7 I didn't like. The rest of it I found corny. And yeah, some of the scenes with certain lines were overplayed. Like when Hopper uses, leave the door open 3 inches. He just starts saying like the same things he would say over and over just cuz. But it still rang as like this emotional. It's a callback. It's nothing to do with the new moment. It's a callback to everything that we experienced. And then when Joyce swings that axe and we flash back to everything that the kids went through, it's not supposed to be that those seasons were perfect or there's any true answer to why Vecna's a total lunatic. Truly, he had no real reason to be doing any of the things he did. There are more chest plates. I can build a portal, I think, almost. He had no real rhyme or reason. Vecna's just Vecna. But that's the goofiness I found weirdly endearing. Like, let me sit back and laugh at it instead. Let me sit back and go, yeah, Vecna's just a goofy dumbass. Despite all of this, despite all these characters, like, he's the most powerful. Oh, they realize he's weak. They realize he's human underneath all that. Duh. He can't be a complete, like, this necrotic thing. The necrotic stuff happened to him, yeah, but no, there's those memories that are trapped that he can't let go of. That's for everybody. Everybody has something, a weakness. And I thought that was kind of cute. A scary cave is the only thing that scares Vecna. Really? But yeah. It was nice to see Max. She kind of gave me the vibes like Brave. She could definitely be a live action version of her, but I don't really care about Disney at all. Just generally, she could do it though. She could pull it off with the hair like that and all. Definitely. But it's just good. I'll just let it sail away. I'll move on. Sharpness 2. I'll get another sword. Heck yeah. What do you got? Get an axe. It's fun to buy these things. I'm resolved with it. I'm not upset. Like, it's everyone else trying to dig it up and beat the dead horse. Like, no, I'm not satisfied with Stranger Things. It's not over. It was always supposed to end. Duh. Actually, I find it that Eleven finally finds peace. That she's never had peace despite everybody around her trying to, like, make her feel better, make her feel whole again, make her feel human again. That was the most relatable to me personally. I've had a lot of moments in my life where I try to find the meaning of what it means to be, like, normal again, and I don't know how to connect with people all the time, and sometimes I just feel like walking away is better, because at least I'm not going to make it more stressful for them anymore, you know, because all the things I'm going through, it's a bit much, it's a bit dark, you know, but I've thrived and overcame and survived everything that I needed to on my own, you know, and you got to find yourself on your own sometimes. And that goes back to another show or movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, same kinds of things. It's human. At the end, they're just like, I got to find my own way. I got to do what I need to do. I'm talking about Mantis, you know. That's it. That's like the best thing to put in an ending. I love Stranger Things for that, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy for that. And you'll notice if you go on my profile on my YouTube, look at my background, I compiled those images together because they had a similar energy or vibe to them. This timeless, you know, 80s retro, but like they're all timeless. Okay, so it's Lord of the Rings, it's Stranger Things season 4, and then it's Guardians of the Galaxy, and then it's Deadpool riding a unicorn, all sitting next to each other, blended together. And I used the poster art from season 4 Stranger Things and layered it over the colored version, so you see the contrast of the penciling and the colored version, which is a really thoughtful way of editing the image. At least for me, I was trying to make something that had a lot of emotional meaning to me. Like, you see how everything in life is kind of connected, but we don't know why? But all of us teach each other values and meanings in different stories, and we kind of translate those over to different narratives. Sure, there's 2 Marvel, but I don't even like Marvel movies. Deadpool to me and Guardians of the Galaxy to me are just kind of like an excuse to make a Marvel movie, but they're definitely, there's a lot more going on in those films than what meets the eye, than what you, it sounds like Transformers, I'm sorry, than what you think is going on. There's something under the surface. And then I go back to Lord of the Rings, there's something under the surface there that taught me about brotherhood and how to lead and how to be a good man, how to be sensitive and not just overly masculine. That balanced me out. So if I find those meanings in different stories, going back to Stranger Things, I had the same feeling when I learned, you know, like Will and his brother, the way they are, you know, they're not necessarily very feminine guys. They're like me, actually. They're kind of broken. They're kind of confused with who they are, and they're trying to make things make sense. And, you know, men like that, they're very powerful, but they're also, they can damage themselves, you know. So they got to have a really good support group, because they're not always a leader, you know. They try to lead, but they're not always a leader. And it's a trust between everybody. And that's why I like Will Byers, for at least the aspect of how he treats everybody, you know. He needed them, but now they need him to do something. And that's important to me. All right, so I think I'm going to end the video here, and I will try to update you guys more, and I might do another one of these ones, but yeah, I'll see y'all.